have been chosen.
You thought you were special. You really thought you were special. Who told you you were special? You thought you were special.
Alright, Clifford Bay back at it. This video is going to be about how to beat traffic tickets in New York State. Alright, how to beat traffic tickets in New York State. So the first thing you want to know is Title 28 USC Section 1604, Immunity of a Foreign State from Jurisdiction. Alright, and this is under the Sovereign Immunity Act. Alright. Under the Sovereign Immunity Act, and is codified in the United States Codes under 28 USC Section 1604. So I'm going to read it. Subject to existing international agreements to which the United States is a party at the time of enactment of this act, a foreign state shall be immune from the jurisdiction of the courts of the United States and of the states, except as provided in Section 1605 to 1607 of this chapter. All right. So with that being said, right, Section 1605 deals with commercial activities. So if you in a business, right, you in business making consumer credit transactions, you're dealing with consumer credit transactions or the UCC, you don't have immunity. But traffic tickets don't fall under the UCC and it don't fall under consumer credit transactions. So, there's no commercial activity involved. They try to make it and turn it into a commercial activity. And if you choose to acknowledge that they are operating under commerce, right, then you probably be giving them some type of jurisdiction. But let's not do that. Let's stick to you being a sovereign of a foreign state, which makes you have immunity, all right? So we're going to define this word, this definition right here, state, all right? So we're going to go to case law. And this is Eisenberg versus Commercial Union Insurance Company, all right? And here's what it says. It is to be noted that the statute differentiates between states, right? States of the United States and foreign states by the use of a capital S for the word when applied to a state of the United States. Then you got the state being defined right here, right? The word state, and this is under 28 USC Section 1332, all right? And then you want to scroll down to D, but it's now E, right? So D, the definition of state is under E, not D no more. It has been revised, all right? So the word state, as used in this section, includes the territories, the District of Columbia, and the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. So as you can see, right, when they mention in the state, hold on right here. So when they mention the state of the United States, right, that means it's being defined right here, right? It's being defined right here. So if state is defined all through this, right, and it's only defined as territories, the District of Columbia, and the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, right? If it's only defined as that, then we can conclude that it doesn't include the Union States, right? And you see how it say the state of New York right here? You see how that it got a capital S? That's because it's really a territory and it's not a part of the Union States. All right? That's what you need to know as well. So let's continue, right? Now let's go to first we need to understand, because some people probably think, oh, territories mean the United States. The United States are considered all the United States collectively is territories, right? That's what some people would say. So let's go to O'Donoghue, right? This is a Supreme Court case. O'Donoghue versus United States, right? And this is what it says. This is what they have established, right? After an exhaustive review of the prior decisions of this court relating to the matter, the following propositions, among others, were stated as being established: that the District of Columbia and the territories are not states within a judicial clause of the Constitution giving jurisdiction in cases between citizens of different states. You see how that works? So territories and the District of Columbia is not considered states under the judicial branch, right? Dealing with judicial issues between citizens of different states. All right? That's very important. But however, the District of Columbia and the territories are states, as that word is used in treaties with foreign powers. With respect to ownership, right? So this is when the United States use the word state pertaining to the District of Columbia and the territories, they talking about ownership under Article 4, Section 3, Clause 2 of the United States Constitution, right? Let's go to that real quick. Right? Give Congress the power to make laws and rules for the territories and other property of the United States, right? Property rights. So territories are considered properties of the United States, but not states, all right? That's one thing you need to know. So hopefully that makes sense. So now that we got that understood, right? We could go back to where's that? Let's go back to that definition. If I could find it. Right? Right here. So with that being said, if the definition don't include the Union States, right? If the state definition right here don't include the Union States, that means that the Union States are part of the foreign states, right? The District of Columbia is foreign. It's the government, and the government is foreign, to the Union States. It's not a part of the Union States. All right. All right. So now that we got that understood, right? Capital S means the states of the United States. And if it got a lowercase s, that means it's a foreign state, right? And we have immunity from the states, right? Which is property of the United States. And they courts, right? Right here. Right? What it said? Right? It says right here, a foreign state shall be immune from the jurisdiction of the courts of the United States and of the states, right? That's what it says, but we already know what this states means. It has a capital S. Unless you could define state anywhere else, whereas including the Union States, then this is what states means, all right? So with that being said, now let's get to this traffic law, right? So under criminal procedure law, every accusatory instrument must be entitled the people of the state of New York. You see how the state is in lowercase? That's showing that it's part of the Union state. All right. So if the caption on an instrument is not spelled out like this, that means it's defective. All right. Now we're going to go over a defective instrument just so I can show you. All right. But I'm going to give you some more clarity. Let me give you some more clarity real quick. Right? So criminal procedure law, section 20.10, and then we go to 1. This state means New York State. You see how that's a capital S? That means it's a part of the territory, right? That's what it means. It's a part of that territory. All right? As long as you understand that. Let's go to the criminal courts. Right? The criminal courts of this state are comprised of the superior courts, a county court, see, but this state, it's a term, which means New York State, so it's a part of the legislative branch. So all these courts are legislative courts. That's, you need to know, right? Keep that in mind. This is how you're going to beat the ticket, all right? Every time. All right? It's very important. So, all right, this state means, all right, all these, the superior court, a local county court, local criminal courts, right, and down. Bang. So now that we got that settled, let's see the Constitution, right? Let's see the Constitution now. Bang, right? So we in New York State Constitution, and this is the legislative article. Let me see, right? Article 3, legislature, legislator, and then we want to go down to 7. All right. So here's what it says: no person shall serve as a member of the legislative unless he or she is a citizen of the United States and has been a resident of the state of New York. You see how the state is in lowercase? State of New York, right? Showing that it's a part of the Union state, all right? Now let's go over here. The enacting clause of all bills shall be the people of the state of New York represented in the Senate and Assembly, right? Which is a part of Congress. So whenever you see this right here, the people of the state of New York, this is the legislative branch. It is not the judicial branch, all right? That's what you need to know. Very important. Very important, all right? So now that we got that clear, right? We know that all accusatory instruments must comply, right? All accusatory instruments must apply with Article 1, right? Section 1.21, right? And they must be entitled the people of the state of New York, right? And not like this. The people of the state of New York. It's not supposed to be entitled like this or any other way with all caps, right? It's supposed to be entitled like this right here. The people of the state of New York, right? So if it's not entitled, that means that this way, that means the instrument is defective. They're not following procedural law. right? It's a defect. That's what you need to know. All right. And another thing, if right here, so we're gonna go right here back to Old Donahue, right? And we're gonna go all the way up to 11, right? Territorial courts are legislative courts created in virtue of the national sovereignty under Article 4, Section 3, Clause 2 of the Constitution. Remember what I told you, right? So this right here, the people of the state of New York is a part of the legislative branch, right? And it's a state that's created out of Article 4, Section 3, Clause 2 of the Constitution, of the United States Constitution. All right? So it's not a part of the Union States. These are the representatives, right? Within the District of Columbia, right? Because this is what it says, right? Public offices at the seat of government. All offices attached to the seat of government shall be exercised in the District of Columbia and not elsewhere. So that's why they got to do that, right? They got to put the people of the state, they got to create a state. Congress had to create a state, right, for New York, for the people of New York. But it's a state that's only has authority within the District of Columbia. And it have no authority nowhere else. And the legislative branch cannot carry out judicial functions. All right? This is what Donahue says, right? Right? To dispose of and make all needful rules and regulations respecting the territory or other property belonging to the United States. And their judicial power is not and could not be derived from Article 3 of the Constitution. They have no judicial power, all right? These states that's created out of Article 4, Section 3, Clause 2, of the legislative branch. Territorial courts do not have judicial power. That's what you need to understand, all right? All right, let's continue. So now that we understand that, right? So when an officer gives you a traffic citation, this is what it says, right? It says State of New York. You see how that's a capital S? We don't care how it. Whenever you see a capital S, that's a legislative state. And you see how I say the people of the state of New York? Clearly in violation, right? This is clearly in violation of, this is all states. All states traffic supporting depositions are like this, all right? That's what you need to know. The people of the state of New York, they will clearly be in violation of right here. Article 1, Section 1.2 or 1.21 that deals with accusatory instruments, right? It says, right, this is what it says. Every accusatory instrument, regardless of the person designated therein as accuser, constitutes an accusation on behalf of the state as plaintiff and must be entitled, not may be entitled, must is the same as shall be entitled. The people of the state of New York, right? And whenever it's not spelled like this, the instrument is defective. And what else? Whenever you see a state in a capital S, that is I call these states that's created out of from Congress. I call all states that's created from Article 4, Section 3, Clause 2. I call them district states because it's a District of Columbia that's creating these states through the will of Congress. So I call them district states. All right. So with that being said, these states, which is foreign to the Union States, right? are in violation of Article 4, Section 3, Clause 2. Let's see what let's see what that says, right? Clause 1, right? So, this is what it says, right? Article 4, Section 3, Clause 1 of the United States Constitution give Congress the power to admit new states into the Union. This clause is also known as the Admission Clause or the New States Clause, right? What does this clause allow? Congress can admit new states into the Union. New states cannot be formed within the jurisdiction of another state. New states cannot be formed by combining two or more states or parts of states without the consent of the legislators of the states involved in Congress, right? So all I'm saying is, whenever you see a state in all cap, that's a territorial state, right? Forming within the jurisdiction of a union state, which is in violation of this section right here. Because no states, whether it's new or not, cannot be formed within the jurisdiction of another state. All right? That's what we need to know. That's what we need to understand. No state cannot be formed within the jurisdiction of another state. And whenever you see the caption, right, the people of the state of New York, right, this is a district state, is forming itself in a jurisdiction of a union state and using a union state's court system to do so, right? So that's what you need to understand. All right, so now that we got that understanding, this is how we beat this. All right, so New York Consolidated Laws, Civil Practice Law and Rules, right? Civil Procedure Rule 2101, Forms of Papers. So we want to go all the way down. You also got to make sure everything is good on this too as well, right? When you write in your caption, make sure everything is there. But we're gonna go to F. Deals with defects. Defects in form. Waiver. A defect in the form of a paper, if a substantial right of a party is not prejudiced, shall be disregarded by the court, and leave to correct shall be freely given. The party on whom a paper is served shall be deemed to have waived objection to any defect in form unless, within 15 days after the receipt thereof, the party on whom the paper is served returns the paper to the party serving it with a statement of particular objections, all right? So, if you receive a document like this, whoa, that's a defect. So you could easily return it to the police officer, right, and let him know the defects. But it's best if you put everything in writing and then mail it back to the department as well, right? And that should handle everything, because we already know the criminal courts cannot proceed under as the people of the state of New York. Reason why they can't proceed in this matter, right, is because they'll be committing fraud, right? Because, right, this state means New York State. So New York State is a legislative branch, right? Whenever you see this state, they're talking about New York State as a legislative authority, right? Not a judicial authority. So, with that being said, the criminal courts are under this state, right? The criminal courts of this state are comprised of all these courts. So all these courts are under the legislative branch, legislative authority. So they are territorial courts. They are not judicial courts. All right. So these traffic tickets will always get dismissed. They can't proceed within the Union State. None of these criminal courts could proceed within the Union State. That's what you need to know. All right. And another thing, to spice it up, right? You can always let them know they're in violation of this, right? No person, firm, all right, court, the term court prohibited. No person, firm, association, or corporation shall hereafter use or employ the term court as part of or in connection with the name of any body, board, bureau, association, organization, or corporation, or in referring to any body, board, bureau, association, organization, or corporation in such manner as to be calculated reasonably to lead to the belief that the body, board, bureau, association, organization, or corporation is vested with judicial power. Right? So we know these states are not vested with judicial power, so they can't even use the term court. And what they say, traffic court, criminal court, all these, they're in violation already. So all I'm saying is, right, this goes for any case. Whether it's a felony case, a traffic ticket case, any case. If it's a defect, give it back to them and make them fix the defect. And this right here, waivers, even though after 15 days they'll say, oh, it's waived, but at the end of the day, there can be no rulemaking to abrogate the Constitution, the rights of the people. So even though this is a rule, right, there can be no consent among parties to violate the Constitution. There can be no consent among parties to violate laws. That's what you need to understand. All right. So with that being said, you could also give the judge a judicial notice, letting them know this as well. But I think I said enough. So this is it right here. So I showed you all the defects, right? And then with this right here, once you see the defect, you give it back to them pursuant to this rule. This rule allows you to give back the defect, to give back the defective paper and let them fix it if they can, which they ain't gonna be able to. And if they can't fix it, that means they gotta get dismissed. Gotta get dismissed. All right. So yeah, this is a banger right here. If anybody need any help with anything, just send me up at the Super Saiyan more at gmail.com. Consultations. If you're more, I'm willing to, work with you so we can nation build. However, if you're not a more and you need consultation, then just hit me at my email. We figure out a suitable price, for my time and all that. But other than that, hey man, we got this. Peace and love. Stay vigilant and you'll prosper.